Apology implies admission of guilt. Is the registrar of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Isaac Olanrewaju Oloyede, guilty of the errors in the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination? Is he guilty of the errors? My take is that Professor Oloyede is not personally guilty of the errors, and that it is a systemic error, an error built into the structure and policy of JAMB. Yeah, you can separate the head from the rest of the body. Professor Oloyede is the head of the body. But if it's a systemic error, an error built into the system, what is the solution? Certainly not mere apology. Because if a husband apologizes for beating his wife without curing the psychological fundamentals responsible for his beating his wife, and he continues to beat his wife anyway, now the computer-based test was imposed on UTME, not by Professor Oloyede, but by Professor Dubu Ojerinde, or government, by government. Professor Ojerinde was the head that time in 2013 when the decision was taken, and 2014 when it became fully operational. Now, let us look at computer-based test, a concept borrowed from where they have widespread, stable electricity and network. An attractive concept, but imposed on a nation that is not ready for it, was not, and is still does, and still not ready for it. Computer-based test. Nigeria rulers, including the academics they rely on, will go to borrow a concept from somewhere, beautiful, fantastic concept, and impose it on the nation. Computer-based test in Nigeria for Nigerian children living in villages and towns and areas where there is no electricity. There are more areas without electricity and network in Nigeria than areas with electricity and network. Populations, innumerable towns and villages, and areas of towns and cities without electricity or paucity of electricity. Hardly anywhere in Nigeria is electricity stable. Even the seat of power, Aso Rock, Nigeria's White House, is claiming money for generator and fuel in the annual budget. The Nigerian seat of power, the highest seat of power in Nigeria, claiming money for generator and electricity. Take that down to farmers, to rural communities, to the poor peoples, to the slums in our towns and cities. Take it down there. So CBT does not belong to us. We have not attained that level, but in an imposition. The same way fuel subsidy was borrowed from nations that don't have fuel, but other resources from which they subsidize fuel for their citizens. They don't have fuel, but they have other things from which they get money to subsidize fuel for their citizens. Nigeria has abundance of petroleum and discovering more by the day. So what's the justification for fuel subsidy? Even if you don't refine, you sell to other nations, you get a lot of money. So what are you subsidizing from where, from what? So fuel subsidy is another concept borrowed like computer-based test. Within the university itself, among the professors, you now have another concept created, homegrown, and academic allowance, which is not earned academic allowance, but a cover-up, a scam, cooked between government and the leadership of the academic staff union of Nigerian universities, the apex academic workers union body. So the Yoruba people say, if fire issues from inside the river, what will you use to quench it? You will normally use water to quench fire, but this fire is coming right from inside the river with water in it. It's not a dry river, an ocean. The water is issuing from an ocean. What we use to quench it? So people should guide government, are colluding with government. Fuel subsidy, computer-based test, and academic allowance. Fraudulent concepts to shortchange Nigeria, to shortchange Nigerians. You must not document the agonies Nigerian children are facing on the basis of CBT. Having to go to town from their villages, look for hotels, we have to rent this and that. Agony. And we continue to deceive the people. And now apologize. Let me tell you, the action of JAMB imposing computer-based tests on UTME, Unified Tertiary Examination, Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. Since 2014, let's just say 2013 till date, that has emboldened this government that has no good plan for Nigerians anyway, other than to claim fuel subsidy and removing subsidy from all basic necessities of life, only to be claiming again fraudulent palliative schemes to siphon Nigeria's money into their own pockets and academic allowance. Fraudulent concept, homegrown, not borrowed from anywhere this time around. And the leadership of the academic staff union entitled itself to 3% of each ASU member's monthly salary monthly. So they have leveled everything up between the academic and the politicians. Nigeria, I weep for you.